Hello and welcome to Faultlines. I'm your host Shahzad Raza. As Israel continues to attack Iran's civilian population and military targets, Iran is reacting in self-defense. An important meeting of the OIC in which Pakistani Foreign Minister and a Deputy Prime Minister, he stressed the need for ending the hostilities and express solidarity with the people of Iran and the government of Iran, and that was a collective wisdom and the decision by all the Islamic countries which got together in Istanbul for this important meeting. And Turkey, he basically called Israel as the problem, the real problem of in the Middle East, and that's why, and because of Israel, the peace would never come to the Middle Eastern region. Meanwhile, when the two countries, they are attacking each other, and there is a very sensitive and very sophisticated situation in the Middle East, Pakistan on its own front is doing whatever it can to safeguard the national interest and the interest of the people of Pakistan. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, he led successful diplomatic mission all over the world after India attacked Pakistan, and we of course reacted in self-defense. And later on, President Donald Trump hosted an unprecedented and unique meeting in which he invited Field Marshal General Asim Munir, and they discussed very important issues concerning Pakistan, the United States, and especially in the Middle East. Which card Pakistan holds at the moment, and how it will play its role ending the hostilities in the Middle East, and also pushing Iran to come to the dialogue table. Iran, in fact, already announced and stated that it would have no objection starting on resuming the dialogue with every international power, but it would only do it after Israel ends its hostilities and targeting its civilian population. Earlier, it was assumed that Israel would have an upper hand against Iran, and Iran would come to the negotiating table and would be under so much and severe pressure. But Iran, with its resilience and with its military might, it proved that Israel is not only the sole power in the Middle Eastern region, and there is a country which can literally tackle Israel. At the moment, it seems that the United States of America is holding the trump card, how it will end the hostility and how it would force Israeli government to stop whatever it is doing at the moment. But today's meeting that would continue tomorrow also of the OIC and the Muslim countries is very important, and it would give a collective and a very solid message that Islamic world would not tolerate any such aggression against Iran or any other country, because there are so many apprehensions and fear among the Muslim countries that Israel would not stop with Iran. It would continue its aggressive design against other Muslim states as well. I mean, that is the concern and the fear, and rightly so. And how the situation would unfold in the days to come, it is yet to be seen. And these are the key questions which I am going to discuss in this program. In the studio, I am being joined by Mr. Zafar, senior analyst. Thank you so much, Zafar, for your time. And very soon, GR Baluch and Major General retired Zahid Mehmood. And both gentlemen, they are with us. Thank you so much, Ambassador Baluch, for your time, and General Zahid Mehmood Saab, your time. Thank you so much for your time as well. And Zafar Saab, let me come to you first. And when we say that the hostilities continue, and Iran is primarily reacting in self-defense, and I mean there is no parallel or comparison how Israel is reacting. Look what it did in Raza, and now in Iran, in different parts of Iran, and it is violating every norm and every law of international law, especially when it attacked the nuclear facility of Iran. My question is, when OIC leadership is meeting and United States of America is literally not at the forefront defending Israel or joining the war alongside Israel against Iran, you think that this is the time, or the coming 2 weeks are very important and decisive how this conflict would end or continue?
Thank you. Look, as far as importance of 2 weeks or 10 days or a week, I think every day in this war is important, because as we have seen, and you rightly pointed out, that it was initially thought that Israel's air power will quickly overpower Iran, and Iran will come to the negotiation table quick and will accept all the conditions. But that has not happened. In fact, in terms of strategic objectives, whatever objectives Israel may have set, it did not sort of calculate that the conflict will drag on for so many days. 8 days were not calculated. So currently, Israel does not have any targets left in Iran where it can strike and claim that it has it has destroyed something. On the other hand, Iran has a different strategy. It is slowly playing with the psyche of the Israelis, common people, and obviously with the Western world also. It is attacking Israel on daily basis, but those are very targeted attacks. Its missiles are able to avoid or
civilian population
fly through the air defense systems, which were considered to be very modern, and it is supported by US also. But currently the situation is that if we look at US, you were talking about US is, it is the first time that US polity is divided. And much of that blame has to be on Israel's conduct in Gaza. Because of that conduct, Israel does not have any moral standing left. Not that it had previously a large amount of moral standing in the community of the world, but current situation is that not many people, not civil societies, academics, even politicians are ready to stick their neck out and defend Israel's conduct. So that is why you see there is hesitance when it comes to US President Donald Trump's decision making on entering this conflict or helping Israel wind up the war quickly. Without US help, I don't think that Israel has the capacity to wind this up quickly. In fact, the longer it continues, I think a two weeks period will be very difficult for Israel to sustain itself.
Okay. Ambassador Baluch, you have a vast experience dealing with your colleagues from United States of America and other important capitals. The question is, when President Trump talking to the media earlier today, he said that in 2 weeks' time we would decide which side we are going to and what decision we are going to take, whether we are going to actually physically entering in this conflict or not. But the question is, in the past it wasn't that difficult for the United States of America siding with Israel, but now the president has categorically made it clear that he would take at least 2 weeks' time. And the question is, what difference would it make even if the United States of America enter the war? Would it take the risk of annoying important allies like Turkey, like Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other important Islamic countries? Because today at the OIC meeting, every important Muslim country, they sing their voice condemning Israel and expressing solidarity with Iran.
Yeah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I think this conflict has to be seen from several angles. First of all, the history of Netanyahu and his wars of choice for the last 30 years or so since he had been in power. It started in 2006 that he came up with this narrative that such and such Arab country is a threat to the survival of Israel, that Israel has an existential threat from these countries. And with the help of the lobbies in the West, especially in America, he was able to sell it and was able to get America, the US, to physically destroy those countries. I'm referring to Iraq, I'm referring to Libya, I'm referring to Yemen, I'm referring to Lebanon. And of course, in that list that now each one of us knows that how that list was drawn out. Even for this very operation in which still Netanyahu had been nudging Mr. President Trump to join his ranks. In fact, there are some leaks now which have come up in the Western media. You must have read it too. That what was the selling point? He said, "Look, Mr. Trump, this is Iran which had tried to uh, kill you during your election campaign." So he plays on the fear of the Americans. He plays on the fear of his own people. And this is not something different. This is a typical of the uh, phenomena that we see in India. We see it in several other countries. And he is the archetype of the populists or anarchists who see their survival in anarchy, who see their survival in wars, in conflicts. So this is a conflict for the protection and security of Netanyahu, not for the security of Israel. And that is the point that now Americans have started to that is the point now started to get sink into the American system. Otherwise, Trump wouldn't have asked that I will decide about it. He didn't say I'll join it. He said I'll decide out within 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a very long time in this war of attrition, which is not physical, mind you. Israel and Iran do not share any borders. So it is a war over the air, over the space, over the over the cyberspace. So now I think my own assessment is that while Trump does not want to, he does not want the Israeli lobby to get antagonized or to sort of
Right.
uh, come in his way. But at the same time, I think he is committed to a possible solution, which is other than the war for this crisis that we see today in between Iran
Exactly, exactly.
and
And
Israel
that's
and
why, and
Iraq.
that's
These
the
people.
sub the other day, President Trump, he denied the report in the Wall Street Journal that American administration has decided or has given a principal approval to join the war alongside Israel against Iran. General Saab, I would ask you a question from military point of view. We see that Israel has a modern warfare technology supported by the United States of America and other European countries. On the other hand, Iran is a sanction hit country. And despite its limitations, the sanctions and all the checks and balances, Iran managed not only managed to survive, but managed to give a befitting response against the Israeli aggression. How it was possible for a country like Iran not only to survive, but paid back Israel in the same coin?
So, Shahzad, thank you very much for the invite. Let me begin. My apologies, you were distorted, so I couldn't listen to your complete question, but I think you're talking with reference to the Iranian nuclear. This nuclear program is a red.
My question was that there is no parallel between Israel and Iran if it comes to the military might, because Israel supported by all the Western countries getting the modern warfare technologies. On the other hand, Iran is facing the sanctions and developing its all missiles and other program indigenously. Then how it was possible for a country like Iran not only to survive but gave Israel the befitting and the matching response?
Thank you. Thank you for this question. Shahzad, look, I think we understand that there's quite an asymmetry as far as the conventional forces are concerned between Iran and Israel. But Iranians are lucky in a way that they have the national resolve, that unbounded resolve of the Iranian society. And this war has brought them together much more. So if there is a will of a nation, then whatever means are available to you, you can prolong this war. Look, Iranians have an experience of having conflict with Iraq for more than 8 years. So that was a protracted conflict. Still, they have this capacity, but nuclear is kind of a guarantee. But they are not nuclear power at the moment in a way that they don't have the nuke they'll be using against the Israelis as of now. This is their primarily the missile strength, missile technology which they have, and the number of missiles which are there. They are using. In fact, Israelis were in habit of pursuing their military objectives. They were not fighting at their own land. So this is the first war they are fighting. Whatever they were doing against Lebanese or whatever they were doing in Gaza, their application in their own region was more of a genocidal approach. That I don't consider that as a war. because they were, we all know that who they were targeting. They were not targeting any military force, but they were targeting the innocent people. Now, this war for the first time has come inside Israel, and people are feeling hate. Day before yesterday, I was observing few Iranians. They were, raffling their one of the minister, and this is the pressure which will, this will put a lot of pressure on Netanyahu. Netanyahu is pursuing the hate-based ideological objectives, and his political career is already, as Excellency Baluch Sahab was saying, that his political currency is already short at that currency. So he's down and out. Even if he wins this war, he is out for good. So that's why they want to have this friction, like Modi and the Liquid Party in Israel and the BJP RSS mentality in this in this part of the world in India. So they have the same for their political pursuits. But having said this, I think Iranians have had and even now they have a very good defense budget. It is around between 25 to 30 billion dollars. Now this war will bring them a lot of lessons that how to use this. You in this modern era, you have to be good in all the spectrums of the war, in all the spectrums and in all domains, so you can have a matching response. Whatever escalation ladder enemy chooses, you need to have a you need to be on that escalation ladder. Even like Pakistan was always, they were at the quid pro quo plus mode. They were at a higher level. So that's why we were good in all domains. That's why we were able to defeat a bigger enemy. We were able to embarrass Indian military in first 30-40 minutes of the defensive maneuver. So Iran has the capacity. They can, prolong this war. And nowadays, in this warfare which is happening now, it will depend upon how much pain you can inflict onto the enemy and how much pain you can take, because civilians are target. There's no now military. This war is not against the conventional military.
There is a lot of collateral from Iranian side. Zafar Sahab, the question is, the day after Israel attacked Iran, the Iranians officials and the US, they were supposed to meet at Doha to discuss, the nuclear program, or, to talk about whether Iran would have a peaceful nuclear energy or nuclear plants. But now, is it difficult or very difficult to understand for the American administration? Well, the Iranians, they were ready to negotiate, ready to, open their, the nuclear facility for the checking, and they did in the past as well. So they were about to go for the dialogue, and Israel attacked Iran. So how could a country like Iran or any other country, to say so, go for a dialogue when it was being attacked from the enemy like Israel?
Yeah, but that is past now, and Iran has already said that it will only enter into negotiations with US when Israel stops attacking Iran. It is very obvious that Israel took the initiative and started these hostilities and aggressive action to scuttle the dialogue, because there was a huge possibility that Iran and US will come to some agreement. And obviously, US policymakers are looking into it, but as we are aware that there is a huge pro-Israel lobby within the US, and they have a large influence within the policymaking circles of the US, in the political circles, in the military, in their business. So it is well documented. Even many American citizens, academics, they also object to it and keep pointing out that we have fought too many wars for Israel, and that is why there is a resistance.
But don't you think the axis is changing as far as the Middle East is concerned? I mean, quite recently when President Donald Trump visited Saudi Arabia and other important countries in the Middle East, and he kind of won several hundred billions of defense contract. So don't you think that not only Israel but other Middle Eastern countries are equally important to United States of America at the moment?
They are. Obviously, we are passing through a period where new geostrategic alliances and new balance is being created. That is one of the miscalculations that are our neighbor and enemy India also did that miscalculation, that where in the new geostrategic balance where does it sit. And similarly for many Gulf nations, the problem is that obviously they have a history of looking at Iran with suspicion. Iran has a history of looking at them with suspicion. For the US, the region is very important. Arab Gulf states are very important. It has tried to create a balance by creating some sort of normalization of relationship between Israel and some of the Gulf states. But for that to work on the longer term, Israel's conduct in the region will be of utmost importance.
Right.
If Israel continues to be belligerent like this, I don't think Abraham Accords or other accords will sustain the pressure that will be on the streets. We need to understand that these agreements have been signed in by the rulers, but the street, the hearts of Muslims beat together, and the streets can get very restive when such situation emerges.
Exactly. Ambassador Baluch Saab, we have seen that Israel systematically cleansed the military leadership of Iran, and earlier it was drum beating a narrative that nuclear Iran is threat to the entire world, especially to Israel and its allies. But now there is another narrative or regime change in Iran. I don't know, I mean, it's a long shot. I mean, how could you change a regime in another country? I mean, Iran is a sovereign country. But now, how serious the debate is within the policy circles in Washington and other European countries, that there has to be a regime change in Iran? Or you think that in the past Americans tried in Iraq, in Libya, but what happened? Chaos, nothing else.
Where the strategic flaw in their thinking is, and I call it either a sort of a distortion in their strategic thinking, or complete hypocrisy, or deceit. In fact, I would tend to think it's a deceit because one, that the Iranian revolution, which was a peaceful revolution brought about by its own people, has been actually profiled as a anti-West, as a anti-progress. To the contrary, if anybody who has gone and seen Tehran, that how people within their own country are liberated in terms of education, in terms of their life. Yes, they have a way of demonstration, the way they are in the market and the homes. That is their own creed. But if they never have been threatening their neighbors the way has been the Israelis have been doing it. One. Second, I think what is happening is that Israeli regime, which is in power, they want to establish a balance of power where Israel has a preponderant position. So now people have started to ask even those neighbors within the region and beyond, that what kind of Middle East that would be, where you have this warmonger Netanyahu, who is the prime minister, or his copycat in the Knesset in Israel, dominating a strategically important region in the world. So I don't think that a Middle East, which is so disbalanced in terms of balance of power, that Israel monopolizes the power. So I think, and the power which was standing in its way was Iran, because it's a 9 crore people, very well educated, 100% educated, technologically pretty ahead, strategically, they think strategically. They might have had their own problems that we would not go into that. But as a country, as a system, definitely it is a more than a match for Israel, and Israel would probably find out now. So I don't think that, in fact, my presumption is that Israel has already lost a war.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
already
the
lost a
question.
war.
Yeah. Question. It seems that Israel is pinning high hopes with the U.S. administration at the moment, but as we have seen that United States of America would at least take maximum of 2 weeks time to decide whether it would enter the conflict or not. So lot depends on the United States decision, and we have to wait for another 2 weeks. And during these 2 weeks, all these skirmish or attacks or missiles attacks would continue.
I think what is happening now, I mean, we have to look at from the military point of view. As we said, there are several aspects of this conflict, the political, geopolitical, geoeconomic, and one is the military. So what Netanyahu wants to do is and he has been doing it actually quite successfully on weaker opponents, that is in Raza, for example, or in Lebanon, creating a status quo, which suits him, creating facts on the ground. But Mr. Netanyahu must know Iran is Iran. This revolutionary Iran is a Muslim Iran. It can never let him create a reality of his choosing. They will choose the day. They will choose their own fate. So I have a firm iman, I have a firm belief that this is the last battle that Israel is fighting. After this, believe me, it will be so dented, that it will dare not speak of a war in the Middle East. So I think we just have to be patient. Yeah.
What do you? Pakistan is an important country and has a very strong say in the matters unfolding in the Middle East as well. What role we are going to play as I mean, you must have heard what Foreign Minister had to say during the OIC meeting, and when President Donald Trump invited Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir to the White House, a very unique and unprecedented meeting. So do you believe that Pakistan is going to play a very important role as far as this conflict is concerned, and that role would be, of course, to ease the tension and restore peace in the Middle East?
Shahzad, look, Pakistan has emerged with the Allah's help as a stabilizer in this region. Pakistan has leverage. Pakistan, why I call Pakistan a stabilizer factor, because India is an factor for the instability, and Pakistan is a factor for the stability. Look at Pakistani's approach or leverage at Iran. This is evident from the slogans which were there in the Iranian parliament. The Shakur Pakistan, thank you to Pakistan. Then look at our connections with the Oval Office, White House. From there, the President of United States of America is saying, I love Pakistan, I love Pakistanis, and I'm honored to be with the military commander of Pakistan. Pakistan has leverage and connection with China. Pakistan has very good connections with Russia as well, because these three major powers have stakes in this region, and they have stakes with the stability of this region. Mind you, it is not in the interest of the United States as well that if there is instability. So Pakistan has a great leverage. And if President Trump has postponed his decision for 2 weeks, the meeting of Field Marshal Asim Munir was the major factor behind this decision, I tell you, because I have the information after those discussions, because our delegation explained to them the cost of American being in part of this world. United States of America, President Trump should understand that President Trump is the exit strategy for Netanyahu. For a very long period of time, he has been trying to drag United States into this war and into the direct confrontation, because the policy capitulation. Initially, everyone was asking Iran to de-escalate. The journey from de-escalation to policy capitulation, that is unacceptable to Iran. They will never ever compromise on 100% surrender of their nuclear activity, because for the peaceful use they understand that they need it for that, and they also understand that even if they submit on this, they agree to the capitulation of this policy, then they are going to face the war. War will continue. So Pakistan can approach Iran, and Pakistan is already, Secretary Rubio was speaking to Prime Minister, and he's asked the Prime Minister to interact with Iran. Iran will listen to us. And of course, we have recently got out of this crisis. We understand. Sorry.
Yes, don't you think that now Iranians must also have learned their lessons? I mean, we have seen in the past the growing cooperation between India and Iran. India was investing so much amount of money in Chabahar post, countering the Gwadar port, and at the same time Kulbhushan Yadav, he was operating from Iran, of course not with the permission or will of the Iranian government, but Indian were using the Iranian soil at their level best against Pakistan. So now Iranian must have learned their lessons also, that at the time of difficulty India not even condemned the Israeli attack, not even one statement, but the Pakistan as a brotherly Muslim neighboring country stood by Iran, and and still we continue to help Iran in any way possible.
Well, Shahzad, my apologies once again because of distortion, but I can figure out that you're talking about the Indian involvement in the region and their presence in Iran and working against Gwadar. And yes, we understand that. That's why I always say that this is a factor of instability in this region. Their lead instrument of policy and all terrorism and these deep state actions in the neighboring countries. The problem with India is that they can't, bear the minorities inside India, and they can't see the sovereignty of their neighbors. So they have been directly involved, and now Iran must be cursing that those agents who are being, arrested inside Iran, they have a lot of Indian connections, a lot of Indian citizens also who are already present. Even you have entered, you have spoken about Kulbhushan Yadav. So with the different name, with the something Patel, he was carrying an Iranian passport. So already there were a lot of ingress of these Indians, and they facilitated the operations of Mossad inside, this Iran. And that's why every other day we are finding Iranians through their, the Mossad elements. They're being captured. We have found a drone factory inside. They were making drones inside and using it against it. So there's a deep ingress of Mossad inside Iran, and that is that their main help for in Iran, and their main help was from the RAW. So this is a huge connection. These two brothers, Modi and
Of course.
Netanyahu, these two parties, Liquid Party and BJP, RSS, these are not two sides of one coin. They have their own deep rooted policy, Hindu Zionism and Jewish Zionism. So they're collaborating in all spheres. I think there are a lot of lessons for Iran to learn, that you see the states which adopt the proxy as their lead instrument, they become a factor for instability in those states where they're operating. And they operate from the
Point well taken. Point well taken. I'll get back to you with more question. Anik Zafar Saab, I mean the same question. Now, Indians should thank Pakistan, of course, and not because that we are doing some extra favor, but we are, of course, defending their the moral and justifiable decision. So, but whatever India was doing through Iran, that would stop, and there would be the ushering of a new era of cooperation between the two neighbor countries, Iran and Pakistan.
Well, we hope so, but before we move on to that, I just want to digress a bit and talk about possible US involvement. One of the factors which most people don't understand is that it does not automatically guarantee that once US enters this conflict, it will end immediately on favorable terms for Israel and US. I do not see that. I think that means that the conflict will spread. Iran is a large country. There are 95 million people, a large geography. So, 1 or 2 air raids or 10 air raids are not going to break their will. So, the conflict will spread to other countries. What we fear, what Pakistan fears is that in case US bases are used from, say, Qatar or UAE
Bahrain.
or Kuwait or somewhere, Bahrain, and in response Iran starts bombing those air bases and all that. Pakistan's diplomatic choices will become very, very narrow, and we will have to sort of take sides at that movement. This is a situation which we do not want, right? So coming back to Pakistan, Iran have had their issues. All neighbors in the world have issues. There, if Canada and US can have issues, obviously
Of
Pakistan
course,
and
of course.
Iran are obviously on entirely different issues emerge between our two countries.
Of course.
But we do hope that once this war settles, and as you rightly pointed out, that we are morally with Iran, diplomatically we are supporting it, but militarily we are not supporting anyone. We are staying out because that's not our job to do it. So Pakistan is juggling these balls very efficiently right now, and Iran must appreciate that we have not taken this occasion or this opportunity to inflict any sort of any pain to Iran, either covertly or overtly, because we do understand, as one of the panelists rightly pointed out,
Right.
that we do understand that we have to be the power of stability
Right.
in this region. We do not want to be the power of instability in this region.
We want to be, and we always been the power of stability and source of stability in the region. Ambassador Baluch Sahab, how do you see the diplomatic mission led by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, in which the mission promoted the narrative and the true narrative of Pakistan, and the narrative that was based on peace and the mutual respect, while on the other hand India was trying to destabilize Pakistan through different means, using the proxies and the propaganda and whatnot. So I mean, regardless of what is happening between Israel and Iran, the conflict or the tussle or the tension between Pakistan and India is the same, although the world attention is diverted towards Iran and Israel. So how are we going to do about, what exactly we are going to do about it, because that problem remains over there no matter what is happening in the Middle East?
Yeah, I think we have again a historical challenge. Of course, God has been very kind to us, alhamdulillah, because of the courage, because of the professional competence of our armed forces, especially the Air Force. Allah gave us victory on that day against a much bigger enemy. That has definitely brought Pakistan a appreciation, respect, and an enhanced status globally, that we now stand as a mid-power from global point of view. One. Now, but still, the Indian effort to build their entire narrative against Pakistan on lies, on fiction, has completely fallen flat on the ground. And now it will be for the first time that the world is hearing that a country is threatening to use water as a weapon of war, water as a weapon of revenge. And in fact, just yesterday, its home minister has again reiterated that they will not revive Indus water treaty. How can they unilaterally uh, abrogate a convention, a agreement between two sovereign states where a the World Bank or the international community is a guarantor? So I think India is wrong on several issues. One, on the legal, because the treaty does not say anywhere that it can be suspended or unilaterally abrogated. One, morally, because how can you threaten 230, 240 million people that we will deprive you of water, which is source
Very
of
rightly pointed out. Very sorry to cut
source
you,
of
Ambassador Baluch Sahab.
existence.
I just I'm left with just 1 minute of the program. General Sahab, any last comment on this? Would you like to add something what Ambassador Sahab was saying?
Look, Shahzad, most important thing for Pakistan is that we have to be prepared. The conflict is, my apologies for uttering this very straight, that is at the doors. They will attempt once again. And Pakistan has already declared that as far as our sovereignty is concerned, as far as our geographical boundaries are concerned, as far as Kashmir and water, Indus water is our vital national interest. So Pakistan will use all available means at the disposal of state to protect our vital interest. Why I say that yes, we will do
We
that.
do
We
that.
will
Of course,
do
Jan
that.
Sahab, quite pertinent,
Inshallah.
quite pertinent, Jan Sahab. Yeah, please finish your sentence very quickly, please, sir. Anyway, Anik Zafar Sahab, lastly, Pakistan recommended President Don for the Nobel Peace Prize, and I don't know how it would unfold since President was mocking at the Nobel Peace Prize committee that they would only give a Nobel Prize to the liberals. But do you think it's a very smart diplomatic move that President Trump intervened and avoided the conflict?
I think on the face of it, if you look at it on the face of it, it looks a little too much of an effort to please someone. But if you look at the strategic play behind it, that is very smart. At the time when he has to decide whether he enters war, you have given him a recommendation and given him an attraction that if you stay out, you can win a Nobel Peace Prize. And I have said it previously also that for President Trump, he has to equal somehow to President Obama.
Only 4 presidents were given the Nobel Peace Prize of the
No,
United
I
States
mean,
of America, of course.
You will have to see that you have to be elected twice and you have to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So that is Obama. And if you look at the whole MAGA movement and all this revival of the Republican,
Of course.
Republican thought process, it started with the election of President Obama twice to the White House. It created a reaction within the white middle America. So that is why
it's a smart move
It's a
on
very
part of
smart
Pakistan.
move.
All right. Thank you very much, Anik Zafar Saab. Thank you very much, Ambassador Baluch. Thank you very much, General Zahid Mehmood, for your time as well. And thank you very much, viewers, for watching the show. Good night and Khuda Hafiz.